Pennsylvania,
New Jersey,
and Delaware.
Now live.
This is News 10 Today.
And today, the dealmaker returns to the United Nations to brief the Security Council on the agreement that pulls the U.S. back from the brink of war with Iraq.
Deadly tornadoes reduce whole communities to ruins in Florida, and President Clinton gets a first-hand look at the damage.
And a far less serious local storm brings a lot of rain and wind and some flooding to the Philadelphia area. We'll take you live to the trouble spots. Good morning and welcome to News 10 Today. I'm Connie Colla.
I'm Steve Levy. It's 6 a.m., February the 24th. Good Tuesday morning to you.
Topping our news this morning, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan returns to New York today to present the results of his negotiations with Iraq and to the United Nations Security Council.
Now, the president has already given his blessing, but this is conditional. Some things has to happen. So let's go down to Washington right now and get the latest for you live from Beverly, Kirk in Washington, D.C. Beverly.
Good morning. UN Secretary General Kofi Annan is expected to face plenty of questions today. Later this morning, he will brief UN Security Council members about the deal many people hope has prevented a military strike against Iraq. Kofi Annan spent the night in Paris before heading to New York and a morning meeting with the UN Security Council. He says he doesn't expect tough questions from diplomats because he says the deal with Iraq is sound. In Washington, President Clinton gave the agreement a tentative endorsement.
First, we need clarity. We need to clarify some of the remaining questions about the agreement to our satisfaction. Clarity is important.
The deal allows UN weapons inspectors full and unrestricted access. It also creates a special group made up of inspectors and diplomats to do the inspections at Iraqi presidential sites. But even with the agreement, U.S. military forces will stay in the Persian Gulf in case Saddam Hussein breaks his promise. And on Capitol Hill, lawmakers have their doubts.
Saddam's continuous flouting of his specific agreements and U.S. mandates since 1991 require removing him from office as the only adequate answer.
There are a lot of unanswered questions about what has happened, where we are, and what is the long-term plan.
Back now here on Capitol Hill, Secretary of State Madeleine Albright and Defense Secretary William Cohen will go to Capitol Hill today to try to answer lawmakers' questions about the deal with Iraq. They will appear before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. I'm Beverly Kirk reporting from Capitol Hill. Now back to you.
Beverly, thank you for that live report. Steve?
And now to Central Florida, where they have had a horrible couple of days from a string of tornadoes that went through the central part of that state yesterday, and the death toll is now 38 people killed. You can see the extent of the damage. Just minutes for these tornadoes to roar through and wreck homes and toss cars and trucks and RVs into the air. Thousands of people lost their power. The wind gusts were estimated at over 200 miles an hour. The president will tour the area tomorrow.
Well, some stormy weather is rolling through our area this morning, but nothing like that. We do have heavy rain and high winds that are causing some flooding and some traffic accidents. We sent News 10's Yuzi Brown Washington out into the elements to get a first-hand look, and she's live at a trouble spot in Collingswood, New Jersey. Good morning, Yuzi.
Good morning, Connie. We're right here along Route 130. Actually, I'm standing right on Route 130. That's because the road has been closed down. This is a familiar sight. Whenever they get a lot of rainfall over this way, a nearby creek floods this roadway and it has to be shut down. And at this point, Collingswood is not the only place that's had to deal with a rough night.
It's a terrible night out. If you can stay home, stay home.
Delaware Valley motorists got a refresher course in the lesson El Nino is teaching about winter weather. Expect the unexpected. Patches of heavy rain turned roadways into rough waters that many couldn't manage to navigate. On I-95, almost a dozen accidents, including this one at Callow Hill, where an 18-wheeler jackknifed and spawned a series of collisions.
The truck jackknifed and then it hit another car, which made the tire come off. And then from there, we all hit the tire as it was flowing off. It was laying in the middle of the road.
This is the same El Nino system that flooded California and whipped a string of deadly tornadoes through Florida. By the time the system reached here, it was only a weakened nor'easter, but still strong enough to remind man that sometimes he's no match for Mother Nature. Again, we're back live here along Route 130 in Collingswood. This sign here pretty much says it all. Road flooded. Again, they've had some flooding problems here, not only in Collingswood, but other areas. When I checked with Bill Henley and the weather guys before I left, they told me pretty much the worst of this system is out of here. So today, hang on to your hats. You're going to have to deal with a lot of high winds, possibly gusting up to as high as 30 or 35 miles per hour. Reporting live in New Jersey, I'm Yuzi Brown, Washington, News 10.
Yuzi, thanks for that report. Be careful out there.
All right, Connie.
Well, now to the latest on the investigation of President Clinton and the White House sex scandal. Prosecutor Kenneth Starr wants information about the media contacts of a White House aide. Sidney Blumenthal has been subpoenaed to testify before a grand jury investigating President Clinton's alleged affair with Monica Lewinsky. Blumenthal says he's outraged and will fight the subpoena.
Some kids in Spokane, Washington have gotten sick. There's been an outbreak of E. coli bacteria there. 7 kids in the city are sick from that bacteria. 3 of them attended daycare at the downtown YMCA, and an 18-month-old child is now listed in critical condition. So the health officials in Spokane are telling the parents there that if their kids attend to the Y daycare, to keep a close eye on them.
Well, an estimated 1 million people are expected on the streets of New Orleans today.
That is because it is Fat Tuesday, the last day before Lent. Floats packed with a lot of partiers filled the streets of downtown New Orleans, as you see. As is tradition, the costumed men handed out the beads to the folks who gathered, but it's all going to come to an end. Police will clear the streets promptly to mark the beginning of Ash Wednesday.
Let's mark the beginning of your rush hour this morning
By taking you to the traffic center and Mark Davies. Mark, what do you have?
Good morning, Steve. We actually have a couple of closures because of flooding. Most of the rain's just causing a little bit of a wet ride for some folks, but 130 is a bit of a problem in Collingswood. It's shut down from the Collingswood Circle to Collings Avenue. Again, in Collingswood, you're taking a live look there as News 10 cameras are on the scene of this. This is getting to be a common story there. A bit of a problem with the drain. Also, actually, the short points, Egg Harbor 4322 is shut down at Franklin Avenue to the Atlantic City Expressway. Same thing, 47 is closed at 9 to Wildwood, and 147 is shut down also from Route 9 to North Wildwood. Closure to the short points as well because of flooding. Accident being worked on in Bucks County, Route 1 just north of Oxford Valley. That could be a problem. It's about 6 vehicles involved in that. In the News 10 Metro Traffic Center, I'm Mark Davies for News 10.
Looks like a busy morning for you, Mark. Yeah.
In fact, let's find out about the wind and rain today.
Bill Henley.
It's going to be with us through the day today. A very windy day. Not as much rainfall today as what we saw yesterday afternoon and last night. We really did get a pretty good dose with much of the area picking up an inch of rain. Today, the showers will be much more spotty, but that wind will really be whipping around to 35 miles an hour, and it's going to be a persistent wind, so it'll be with us through the day today. Heading out the door right now, temperature's really not that bad. We're in the 30s, 39 degrees, and we'll top out at just 43 this afternoon. So the temperature's not going to go too far today, and with all the wind, it's not going to feel like it's in the 40s. Wet weather on and off through the day. It will only be rain for Philadelphia, but in the Lehigh Valley and the Poconos, they're going to see some snow today. All right, Earthwatch will show you what's happening. Right now, you can see our NextRad Doppler radar is indeed showing some spotty showers, most of them fairly light around the area, but we could have some pretty good downpours later on. So an umbrella will certainly be handy today. Our forecast is calling for showers on and off during the day and quite windy conditions through this afternoon and into tonight. 43 will be our high temperature. The 5-day forecast shows sunshine is on the way. Tomorrow the sun will be peeking out behind those clouds. We'll see an afternoon high of 53 degrees as the wind will be bringing in much milder air. Nice and sunny on Thursday with a high of 56, closer to 60 degrees for Friday and Saturday. Mostly sunny on Friday, clouds and some sunshine on Saturday with a nice mild day. So we'll get through today without any problems, and then the nice weather will set in for another long stretch. More of this evil winter that we've had to go through this year.
57 is amazing by the weekend.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
8.5 minutes after 6 o'clock, when we come right back, who is going to be the featured running back for the Philadelphia Eagles now that Ricky Waters won't be here? We'll see.
But first, let's take a look back at this day in history. It was on this day in 1981, the engagement of Great Britain's Prince Charles to Lady Diana Spencer was announced by Buckingham Palace. It's 6:08.
Dateline Tuesday. He claims he's from another universe. Some have given up nearly everything to join this bizarre leader's cosmic family. Now Dateline goes undercover inside this unusual alternative religion. A hidden camera investigation. Dateline tonight.
Then on News 10 at 11, fire exits, locked at a local school, illegal and downright dangerous in an emergency.
This is unbelievable.
News 10's Herb Denenberg investigates why there's no way out. Tonight on News 10 at 11.
It's not just another President's Day event. At Chrysler in Plymouth, it's the big winter clearance. On Chrysler Cirrus, get $1,500 cash back or 1.9% APR for up to 60 months. You'll also get a glove-soft, leather-trimmed interior with an 8-way power driver's seat at no extra charge. This won't last. Chrysler and Plymouth's big winter clearance. Don't
Bye.